Once electrons were discovered, people started wondering about where they were in the atom, what their function was, things like that. And in 1907, Ernest Rutherford came up with an experiment that relied on two pieces of matter that played a big role in this experiment. He had what he called an alpha source, which was now known to be a chunk of thorium, highly radioactive substance. By drilling a simple hole in it, he was able to make it act like a gun, where something was being radiated from this substance, and he could get it to flow in a straight line like a gun. We now know that these alpha particles, as he called them, were essentially helium nuclei, He2 plus. And they were radioactive and would register on a piece of film, so he could sort of monitor where they went. Another substance that was available in this day was gold foil, which means gold that had been pounded by craftsmen so fine that it was potentially a single atom thick. And he shot these alpha particles at this gold foil in order to understand how atoms might be arranged. Perhaps they are cubic and there is no space in between them, in which case these helium nuclei would bounce straight back. Perhaps they are spherical, as has been postulated, but are touching each other like cannonballs, and if it's single layer thick, there'd be tiny spaces in between, and some of them should register as going through. And when he actually did the experiment, which was apparently very difficult to perform, and by all accounts he did not perform it, but his workers did, what they found was that 99.7% of the alpha particles went absolutely straight through the thing and just went through the other side. About 0.3% of them did get deflected in angles that suggested that there perhaps are occasionally hitting something spherical in nature, meaning they bounced off at all sorts of weird angles, almost never straight back. He was forced to, like Thomson before him, to propose something radical, and what he suggested is that atoms are 99.7% empty space. They went right through. Also be aware that what he's discovering is that matter can go right through matter, much like one person could walk right through another person. This is matter going through matter. So it's a unique experiment, and he was forced to conclude that since most of them went through, the electrons are perhaps outside the nucleus. This is largely supposition, actually. The atom is mostly empty space, and once again, nobody knows what these electrons are doing. So Rutherford's model for the atom, in accordance with a planetary model, was this image here, although there was really no evidence that that's exactly how it occurred. He simply suggested that atoms are outside the nucleus. What remains, what forced these alpha particles to bounce back, must be a nucleus. This is the work of Rutherford and his 1907 gold foil experiment.